So Halo Infinite has been in a pretty bad situation pretty much since it launched. The player base has been pretty upset and been dwindling ever since the game came out. You have people complaining about things like lack of content and updates, bugs, glitches, things like this. And even with the new Season 2 update to Halo Infinite, some things just haven't gotten better for this game, and people are still upset about even some of the new problems that have been introduced with the game. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today we're going to be talking about Halo Infinite and its Season 2 update, which was long awaited, much needed, and overall served to better the game, right? I mean, everyone was looking forward to this Season 2 update. Truth be told, it should have came a lot sooner, right? Like, we should have been talking about a Season 2 update maybe like a month or two into the game cycle, right? Like, you can't just go 6 months without updating the game this long with this much content. That was one of the big deals, right? Like, we've talked about that here on the channel a few times now, where we've discussed like how there was such a lack of content coming to the game and how competitors like Call of Duty and other big games that have these live services are easily getting more content out than Halo Infinite, which is a pretty big problem because, well, especially in modern gaming, the games that have the most new content are oftentimes the games that are going to get played. With that being the case, it wasn't looking too great for Halo Infinite there for a while, but of course now the Season 2 update is here, so it was definitely pretty hyped up. Kotaku even wrote an article talking about how this new update was so big, it needed an entire table of contents that you had to delve into in order to catch all of the new updates made to the game. Now, there is some new content that has been added to Halo Infinite. In my personal opinion, I don't think it was enough content. I mean, it might be serviceable for now, but for how long people had to wait, you know, you would have thought there had been a lot more content, more maps, more modes, maybe even new weapons and things like that. But unfortunately, with this Season 2 update, not everyone in the Halo community is too hyped up for it. In fact, people who play the game frequently and some of the top players in the game have been complaining because there's new issues that have arisen that have made the game completely busted, and it's just upsetting the community. So, busted challenges, a dysfunctional battle pass, a bunch of ultimately ineffectual fixes, a cacophonous uproar of player feedback, much of which isn't positive. It may sound like the launch window era of Halo Infinite, but no. This is Halo Infinite today, 6 months after its launch, during the first week of its second season. Halo Infinite, released last fall for Xbox and PC, is the first entry in the series of shooters to be based on a free-to-play model. It's replete, I should say, with many standard features of such a model, including a seasonal structure where new stuff cycles into the game every few months, and a level 100 battle pass. You can progress through the battle pass by completing specific tasks called challenges, which proved controversial in the start. On Tuesday, developer 343 Industries rolled out the second season for Halo Infinite called Lone Wolves. It adds a bunch of new features right off the bat. 3 new modes, a reimagining of fan favorite King of the Hill, the return of fan second favorite Attrition, and the introduction of Last Spartan Standing, a Battle Royale Light, are available with more to come. The Battle Pass is full of some truly inspired cosmetic options. It's undeniably awesome to see your personally customized Spartan soldier in sumptuously choreographed cutscenes, and the new lobby music is OMG levels of awesome. There's a lot to like here and a lot to sort through, which is why the update needs a whole table of contents before you even dig in. But according to the most dedicated players, along with some fans who are hopeful to see return key changes, there is a lot more to not like. So I want to start all this off and start talking about everything by saying this update wasn't totally terrible, right? I mean, they did make some changes that were necessary. They added some content. At the end of the day, right, that's a lot of what people were asking for. So this update didn't just completely come out and shit the bed, right? Like, there was some good to be seen in this. They did add some fan favorite modes. They added some new content to play with. But at the end of the day, there is a lot more problems that also need to be addressed, and these are issues that just break the game, right? I mean, like what we're about to talk about next is so bad that it would make me not want to play the game anymore legitimately, right? So, many of the loudest complaints are about challenges for the Last Spartan Standing mode, a free-for-all game type set on a large map. Last Spartan Standing gives you 5 lives with no options to earn any more over the course of a round. Once you're out for the rest of the match, at which point you can spectate others or quit out to the multiplayer lobby. A pop-up notification will say you can leave without penalty to your challenges, but players say that it's unreliable at best. For some, progress toward your challenges simply doesn't seem to register. For others, you can successfully complete challenges and still not seem to register any progression for the 2 active battle passes. Right now, in addition to the standard 100 level battle pass, there's a secondary event battle pass going on. Upon completion, Last Spartan Standing challenges grant you progress towards both. So basically, right, you know, people are playing the game, they get 5 5 lives, I don't know, they lose all 5 of their lives, they don't win the game mode or whatever, and instead of spectating players, they want to back out, right? At this point, you should be able to keep all of that XP and the progress towards your challenges and stuff that you made while in the game because, well, you lost, right? And it even tells you that you can leave without penalty. You would think at that point, right, you would be good to go, but no, unfortunately, there's a big wave of players that when they do back out, right, after they've lost, they're not getting progress towards their challenges, and they're basically getting fucked over. So they're playing these matches for literally no gain whatsoever, you know? They're not getting anything new out of this, and they're not getting any reward for playing the game, which obviously in video games, that's a pretty massive thing. You're supposed to be rewarded for gameplay. You're supposed to want to play the game and earn new things, and that's the whole point, especially with like these live service games, right? Which Halo Infinite has wanted to be. When you make your game free to play in 2022, especially like a multiplayer, you're now a live service, whether you want to be or not, right? And it seems like they don't want to be with the lack of updates and the lack of content that this game has historically had a problem with, but at the end of the day, man, these are basic things, right? Like, these are just a few lines of code to fix. It shouldn't be that hard to make sure that players are earning progress towards their challenges, you know what I mean? These are the basics of the game, and I've said this even for games like COD when they've messed this kind of stuff up. Like, I don't get how this is such a big, prevalent problem in so many different games. Like, you have dozens, if not hundreds of people working on these games, right? And you can't figure out how to make sure people at least get rewarded for playing the game that they got, you know? Like, come on now. Don't leave your matches, one player warned. Others shared experiences of completed tasks that didn't actually show up as completed unless they waited for the match to wrap up. Some Go Figure shared memes. While technical issues on launch day aren't uncommon in the world of video games, of course, this isn't your typical day one rollout. It's coming significantly into the game's life cycle amid a player base that's slowly dwindled for months and is meant to not just stop the bleeding, but to usher lapsed players back into the fold. Speaking personally, I ran into a few issues with progression on launch night. I even tried 343's recommendation, restarting the game, to no avail, randomly several matches after I knew I completed the requisite requirements for a few challenges. These challenges showed up as completed, but I still didn't unlock any of the levels on the event battle pass. An hour or so later, I did. Weird. That same evening, 343 Industries released a hotfix for busted challenges in both the Last Spartan Standing and Typical Free-For-All playlist, but some players still say the problem persists. Last night, 343 Industries released a second hotfix intending to fix the same problems the first one purported to fix, which actually just suggests the first one did not 100% work as intended. Time will tell if the second one did the trick. In any case, players will still understandably feel uncertainty so long as Last Spartan Standing doesn't actually register challenge progress immediately, so really you're given two options. Risk losing progress toward challenges, not ideal, or sit around and spectate each match as it plays out, which obviously is a snooze fest. That's not fun in a fucking video game. So the rollout of Season 2 also seems to have skewered some fundamental gameplay mechanics. Inexplicably, this week's massive update now apparently causes some guns to jam up. Austin Mickwin, a pro Halo player, cited the bug as a top reason he's avoiding the game for the moment. Tyler Spartan-Ganza of the pro team E-United initially pointed to battle rifle jams as a reason he's glad he takes breaks from Halo Infinite after big events. E-United recently finished in 4th place during the past weekend's relentlessly kick-ass HCS Kansas City Major Tournament. After eventually hopping into the game, he criticized the update, calling it, quote, a fat fucking L and, quote, fucking pathetic. Ganza says he's pivoted to playing Pokemon. So, I mean, you can see the pro players are disappointed, regular players are disappointed, reviewers are disappointed. I mean, like the article states, this was supposed to be an update that brought life back to Halo Infinite. And, you know, they did address some of the needs of the community in this, but they ultimately didn't address everything that needed to be addressed. And that's been the downfall of this game ever since it came out. They're just not addressing what needs to be addressed. Their communication's been poor, the updates have been lackluster, they've been breaking the game when they come out like Season 2, and it's been pissing everybody off. Like, it's not a complete surprise, but at the end of the day, man, it's so depressing to see because Halo Infinite was one of those games that really had so much potential, right? Like, this could have been, quote-unquote, the savior of the Halo franchise, and instead, it's just been kind of stepped over in a way. And as someone who was really excited for the game to come out, I've been more than disappointed, to say the least, when it comes to everything that this whole game really has had happen for it. So, I don't know, man. Can Halo Infinite make a comeback at this point? I don't know. There's been a small increase in players over the last 30 days on Steam, but ultimately, I don't think that's going to be enough to really bring the game back. I think that's just people trying out Season 2, potentially being disappointed and leaving the game again, especially when the next update will come God knows when. So, with that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel, follow me over on Twitter and Twitch at @SubToOptimus. Make sure to check out Shop Optimus down below, and until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, talking about the new Halo update. and signing out.